Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm pretty annoyed. I'm in a lot of pain as well. My shoulders are killing me so much at the moment. I've got exercises that work, but I can't concentrate on them. So it's not totally hopeless, but it's not exactly. It doesn't feel good when you can't do the thing that you know would make you feel better. Anyway, that's my pity party over. Not wanting to have an impact. I've always tried to not have any impact on anyone around me from being really little. Just be non-existent. Because if I impact someone, then I might have led them into some kind of harm. Or I might have upset them somehow without even knowing or meaning to. What else am I scared of? Just controlling anyone to any level whatsoever. I don't want to do that. So I try not to impact anyone at all. So for a woman like me, and there might be men like this as well, I don't know any men apart from through this group, we don't want to need anything. It's not that we don't want to need anything, we don't recognise that we need anything. This was pointed out to me a while ago by somebody really amazing, this dyslexic lady who used to run a support group I went to, where I started to learn how to speak. She is amazing. She's really amazing. She just waited for me to find the words, and not many people really do that. I'm basically like the shipping forecast, but not one that you actually chose to listen to. So if anyone's listening, thank you. I really need this practice to just try and voice things. It's very, I'm quite impatient, so it's difficult for me being like the shipping forecast. My thoughts just seem to come so slowly, and I just keep blanking out a lot as well in my head, because I don't have thoughts in my head, so I can't just kind of string things together easily. Anyway, not wanting to have an impact doesn't work, because after all that, when I was so-called classed as an adult, I started to do things which apparently impacted my family, and they hated me for it, and they criticised me for it. Not that they'd ever not criticised me and hated me before, but they outwardly and openly told me I was hurting them, I was, doing everything wrong. They also criticised me for not communicating with them, which is totally ridiculous because they never listened to me in the first place. So I couldn't even speak, so I was a mute. So if they'd bothered to try and listen, they would have noticed that I couldn't speak. A little bit, there was a lot of nonsense going on in that family. So, not communicating. All of a sudden they wanted to know things which I couldn't even voice, and blame me for impacting them. And that's been a theme ever since, through my adulthood, from from certain family members. So not impacting people doesn't work. This is all about anger. And so based on Mark's video from today, thanks Mark, it's amazing. I love everyone's work in this group so far. And Mark's talking about that depth of the anger, the strength of the anger, and I have that too. And it's I'm scared that something I said might have, I might have unintentionally given the impression of judging, because I'm a work in progress here. I mentally struggle a lot. I'm a paranoid, so that is pathological. So if I'm saying I work in a certain way, I'm not necessarily advocating for it and saying try this. Try this way of handling things. I don't want to excuse people that are hurting us, but I probably do that quite a lot because of my, I think this is a new phrase that I haven't looked into yet, but it's internalised bad objects. Apparently I have these, so that's not much surprise. This is from, sorry, I know I'm jumping around, but I just haven't got the capacity to put this a bit more clearly. This is a good book. And I thought he might have one listed here saying, I have a right to be wrong. You have a right to be wrong. Because I can be angry. You can be angry. Anger isn't a bad thing. It's supposed to be like that. It's important. And I thought there might be something. And the thing is, I want to be angry about certain things. That doesn't make me weird or weirder because I'm like finding more things I'm angry about, or that I still feel the same level of anger and can't just move on. I have resentments against people who haven't corrected things that have negatively impacted me or others. No matter how we explain it to them, or no matter how peaceful we are, or no matter what energy we bring, they can't be touched. So what I wanted to say is, so from the cult, from being on the edge of that cult, one of the things they had was this new map of anger. I've never seen it in a like physical sense, because I imagine there must have been something kind of like written out, but I don't want to look into the cult teachings because I don't want to be in a cult. But I learned some really brilliant things about anger, and some of the just stuff that's been very helpful. New map of anger, basically it's something along the lines that anger is to be listened to, it's to be voiced, and we need to connect with our anger so that we can move forward and take actions that are appropriate. So there's a process to go through. So let's say I feel angry. I'm going to shut it down as, this is insignificant. I'm extremely angry about it. I'm inordinately angry about it. By the way, this is my own words to just describe what I understood from what I learned from there. So I'm inordinately angry about this thing. It shouldn't bother me this much. I shouldn't be annoyed with somebody. That would be even worse, because that's like blaming them, and I might hurt them by that, even if they don't know, because I'm too wimpy to tell them. And I'm scared of someone I'm jumping around. I'm scared of someone misinterpreting me and being hurt by that. I know nothing. So on the other side of that though, I'll come back to the map of anger because my brain's all over the place, ADHD. We do know things, okay? Thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. This is a concept that I might look into eventually, but it's one of those things when I heard it years ago, I just knew, to me, that feels true. Thoughts are things. We do know things. I said a while ago, I'm clairaudient. Psychic is a thing. I don't know if everyone has psychic abilities, but if anyone doesn't believe in it, then they're an uninformed skeptic. There's a book about it by Dean Radin. So that's, if anyone wants to look into the science behind that, you can do. Dean Radin. Can't remember which book it was that I read, but it took a long time because it was a very like hefty sort of book. But basically he goes on about the same thing, which is that there's decades and decades of research proving that psychic phenomena exist. But some people can't accept it, no matter what evidence you give. So that's why people that don't accept it are called uninformed skeptics. So being a psychic, I mean, I can't say I'm literally psychic, okay. Having clairaudient experiences all my life, I've never been somebody who would have to try and imagine like, oh, is it real that I could know what someone might be thinking? I've never questioned it. I just, like, and that's up to me to be wrong. This is what I'm trying to say. I thought he might have listed it on this to say, like, you have the right to be wrong. Because this is a good book and he has some good points in here. You have the right to say, I don't understand. You have the right to say no. Looks like he's put that as number 11 sneakily without putting an X and a 1. Yeah. Okay, I can be wrong, that's fine. But what I know is that I can hear what people are saying about me when they are. And sometimes I can know what someone's thinking. So if somebody is being rude to you and then we're trying to calm down and not interpret and not guess what their intentions are, well, it's not really helpful, is it? So the process really, excuse me, is I feel angry because, and we need somebody, or at least I do. I guess you could do it on your own. But I feel angry because, say the thing if you can. And if you're not there yet, then there's these like techniques to raise the anger if you're scared to access it in the first place, like I was. So like like scrunching a towel and like getting your voice to start coming up, and then I feel angry because, and then actually start saying the things. And then if you have the other person there, they're not going to interrupt the process, so you'd have to chat about this beforehand. They have to reply by just silence or nodding or listening, and sometimes reflecting things back to you. There was a better term than reflecting, but that's what it comes down to. So I would say, like, I feel angry because they parked there. Yeah, you feel angry because they parked there. So they say it back to you, they parrot it back to you. Can't remember the term they used in the cult. And encourage you to go into it. And it really works, but you have to keep going through it. So then eventually, by the end of it, you might be shouting into a pillow or something, or like shouting loud if you're in a space where you're allowed to do that safely, as long as you don't hurt anyone, don't hurt yourself. So you're going to be like, or shouting what you're so angry about. It needs to happen because it needs to be loud. Sometimes it needs to be loud, or it needs to be voiced, but not necessarily straight at the person that you're annoyed with or whatever. Excuse me. But like, just as like a process to respect the anger. And then it's quite cool. I just wanted to briefly say that when my children feel angry, I know to do this now. So I don't know if I've ever told the anecdote. I better not, in case my phone runs out of space. If I can come back to it, I'll just mention something about when my daughter was a baby. But what I was going to say, let's say I can see my daughter and I think, oh, I see that she seems to be getting angry. And then I would say, well, check with her, because we can be wrong again. So ask her, and if she says, yeah, I feel annoyed. So in the cult, sorry, I'm always on tangents because I'm ADHD, so it's like anger, fear, joy, and sadness. And they use those four, I've got 5 fingers there, they use those four instead of like separating out into all the different subcategories, like, you know, irritated or frustrated. They purposely go into those four. So if you were, say, lonely, then you would be asked, like, which one does it come into out of those four? It might be like, actually, I feel angry or whatever. And then it's easier to access the somatic feeling where it is in the body and actually start voicing it. And then, oh God, I want to say so many things about this because there's more to it about going back into when you first felt that way. But anyway, that's probably, I can't explain that properly, especially not very quickly. So with my children, let's say my daughter looks annoyed and then I'll say, she wants to go into it and then she will say, I feel angry because da 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 da, and then she'll start saying it. And then me and my son, because we were, it's like the three of us went through this little journey together, because when I was on that Raging Mother's course in the cult, on the edge of that cult, I was telling them about the things, because I was in another room. I would be like, right, don't worry, I'm going in that room for 1 hour. I'm going to make a lot of noise. I'm absolutely fine. It's part of this process. And then, you know, so then if someone's, let's say you and the partner are like having this exchange, I feel angry because, and then we would be saying to my daughter, like, go on, yes, yeah, that's it, like encouraging us to go into it more and more. And then sometimes, actually, I think this always has worked so far, afterwards, but I can't really promise it's like a magic pill, but it's very worth a try, that afterwards then she would go like, oh, I feel alright now. I think I'm alright now, actually. And then just like skip off or just do something else or whatever, because these things need to move. Our energy needs to move. And yeah, I want to talk about more things. I'll just try and talk about another thing, but I'm sorry if it cuts off because my phone's warning me it's full of stuff that I'm not even trying to store in the first place, because this always happens because I have a clutter problem. I'm not trying to keep things and it wants me to pay for storage and all that. So when I was in Bangladesh, I think the first time I went to Bangladesh, they're good at getting angry. You know, cultures are different. They don't seem to think anger's a bad thing like we've been taught. So I remember like we were in this house where I was staying, and every morning about 4 or 5 in the morning there was like very, very loud noise going right past the bedroom window. And one morning my new mother-in-law went out of the door and started shouting at this person who was walking past, basically with cows, going like, what is all this noise? I couldn't actually speak Bengali at this point, so I had this interpreted for me later. What is all this racket? And then says to her, well, the cow's separated from its calf, so that's why it's making such a loud noise. She says to him, well, keep the calf with the what do you call it? Keep them together then, don't separate them. And then she's like, we've got a new beau in here, we've got Nutun Beau. It's like they have a lot of respect for someone who's newly married, so she's like, you're waking up Nutun Beau, just keep the calf with its mother. So she like immediately found out like what the hell's going on here and just told him to sort it out. And then all the other mornings he just didn't separate them, he just walked them together down this little passageway, and there wasn't any racket because, you know, he was just keeping the cow was up here and then the calf was like somewhere behind, and they were distressed and they were like mooing extremely loudly. Oh, anyway, don't know if I did justice to that, because I'm just like feeling so pressurized at the moment in my life, like so much stuff to do. I want to just get a lot of things across. I hope it was interesting, and lots of love to you all.